So let me save you some time. If you trust your system that it tells you that there's 345 pieces in location D32, and you're 100% sure that they're there always, then skip this video. Now, if you're still here, it might be because you're continuously searching for missing parts. Maybe there are even spares that have your equipment down, or you have search parties, a bunch of people looking for parts, or paying for expedited freight to get those parts in that you need to be able to deliver to your customer. So now it's Friday afternoon. You've promised delivery to your customer. All you have is a bunch of excuses. They don't trust you anymore. You don't trust your system either. And now what? A bunch of excuses, and that doesn't work anymore. So it's a trust issue and a reliability issue. If you can't rely on your system and your customers can't rely on you, we have an inventory problem to solve. And it's not difficult. So this is the first part of a series that I'll be doing for you to share with you exactly what you need to be doing. How do you think about these things so that you don't have to chase parts? You can trust your system, it's reliable, and you can invest your time in continuous improvement opportunities instead of containment, correctives, and reactive activities. So I was recently at a Walmart. I used their app. I ordered like 5 items, and the app told me that order is ready. So I drove down to the Walmart. I parked in that spot that you wait for them to bring the things out, and waited for about 20 minutes. I mean, they texted me. They said, when you park in there, it should take a couple of minutes for them to roll out and come and bring them into my car. But lo and behold, after 20 minutes of waiting, they come out with one of the 5 items. And the guy says, sorry, they're not in stock. So it's very strange. I paid for them up front. It said in stock. So now I'm thinking in stock, but not available. Is that like a thing? So maybe that's happening also with your system. You look in there, it says that the parts are available, and you believe it, and then you schedule your production or you schedule your service, and it comes time to actually get things done. You go to that location and the parts are not there. So they're in stock, but not available. In other words, they show in the system, but physically they're not there. Or maybe they're somewhere else in the building, but they're not in that location where your system says they are. And then the search parties begin. A bunch of people looking behind the pallets, behind those boxes. And the biggest thing that I see when these inventory issues occur is that we start blaming people. We start looking for who to blame. And he did it, she did it. I've even seen people that get tossed out of a company because of these issues. And all you do is change faces. But unless we really understand what's going on with your system, with your processes, then this is not going to go away. And let me tell you, it's not hard to do. I know because I've been doing this for many, many years. You can tell from my gray hair that this has been one of the things that I've been doing and training people ever since I left the industry back in 2013. But before that, I was also very involved in ensuring that inventory matched. Whatever the system said, the physical counts were there. Because it's very annoying and frustrating when you believe the system, you plan on things, you promise it to your customer, and then excuses. So we need to stop that. And with this series, if you subscribe to my channel, you'll be able to see all of these videos for free. And then at any time, you can connect with me. I can maybe help you through direct messaging. And of course, if you need some help, you could first take a look at the book that I've just published, the Inventory Accuracy Playbook, which is on Amazon, and I'll leave links to other places where you could purchase it. But you can also connect with me, and if this is like a serious problem in your facility, then contact me and maybe we can work something out and show up and in a couple of days train your people, teach people how to fish and train your people so that you can have the discipline to attain and achieve inventory accuracy, find your parts when you need them, and sustain it, because that's the other part that we need to deal with. So in this part, in this first part, I'm going to share with you what are the key things that you'll want to do. And this is pretty easy. And it's really getting out of your desk and going to see the process. Now, you could walk stock to stock. In general, choose a bunch of materials from the minute they come into your facility until you actually assemble them and deliver them. Walk the whole process. I'm actually saying go out there and walk. Get out of your desk. Don't, we assume a lot of things when we're sitting, out in an office. We're looking at data, we're looking at KPIs. That's fine. There's always a place for that. But if you really want to understand what's going on, go out and look at your processes, because your system is only a reflection of what's actually going on in your physical processes. And if your physical processes, anything out there is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, then it's going to be reflected in your system. And sometimes it's just some minor issues, some minor habits, some minor behaviors, and that those can be corrected quite easily. Sometimes it's deeper things. And in my book, of course, I go into many different cases and different situations where it could be because the way that you're measuring things. It could be equipment. It could be the scanners. It could be your material handling equipment. It could be RFID issues. It's rarely your software, although sometimes there's bugs in the software, but typically it's physical activities that are impacting what you see in your system. And then what happens on a late Friday afternoon when your customer is hoping that they're going to get their delivery on time. And then, lo and behold, you got to call them, let them know it ain't going to happen. And that's not good. So blaming people is not going to help. When you do go out to the shop floor, to the facility where you're working, if this is in a hospital and you have to trace, materials, medicines, or if it's in a hotel or a restaurant and you have to trace things, go item by item. Choose a few items and track them within your process, and talk to the people. Quite often when I said before, we blame people, but at the end of the day, they have several priorities that they have to tackle every day. They're being told deliver on time. They're being told watch out for quality, and at the same time, they're being asked to scan things on time, at every step. This is a problem because they have to choose whether they're going to deliver on time, get things done right the first time, or scan things and move things and scan them. Sometimes there's a rush to move things from one place to another. So I've been there. I've done that. I've managed all of these issues on shop floors before, and there is a way to do this. There's a way to get out of this mess. But you have to look at all of the factors that are impacting the process, any obstacles that your operators are having, any constraints that they have, things that get in the way. You're looking for equipment, you're looking for the materials, you're looking for methods. You're also looking at communication, which is also key and important. So when you go out to visit what's going on, talk to the people and don't ask them, why did you do this or why did you do that? Ask them respectfully and say, show me how you do this. Where do you put things after that? Show me. How do you, and then ask them also if they have suggestions. Ask them, said, look, we know there's issues here. Could you please let me know, show me where you might be having a problem to be able to follow your instruction of scanning things here? Is this clear? Is there some ambiguous or vague items on your instructions that are preventing you from doing your job properly? And by properly, I mean following process, whatever the process states. If you have to move something and scan it, okay? The basic stuff. And sometimes that's not being done because there's some kind of obstacle or constraint. And it's usually, or what I've seen is mixed messages, mixed priorities, mixed directives that are frustrating the person. And then they have to make a choice. And sometimes they just go around, they work around, they'll move a part, not scan it. Or parts will sit somewhere in some kind of limbo, like, for example, a quality situation where a part is set up somewhere and it's set out there because it's a part that needs to be contained. It's got to be analyzed. It's got to be measured. And in the meantime, it's sitting there. Your system says that those parts are available, but if they haven't been scanned into this location, then they're in limbo. And there's a lot of bullwhip chain reactions, consequences that happen thereof. Purchasing is going to be looking at the system, and maybe they're going to order more of what you already have, or not order things because you think they have them. It could go either way. So these are things that you're going to actually see on the floor, and take notes, because all of these factors at the end, and in one of the next chapters, I'm going to explain how all of these factors are going to fit into a cause and effect analysis tree that is the fishbone. And with the fishbone, we're going to be able to then identify as many factors as possible that might be impacting the reasons why on a Friday afternoon, those parts that you need are not there. So again, for this first session here, and it sounds quite simple, but let's begin with going out to see, to visualize, to observe directly what's really going on. Because I think I mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, your system is a reflection of your physical activities. Your system doesn't think. Your system calculates, it analyzes, right? But it analyzes based on stuff that somebody has put in. And if whatever has been put in is incorrect, inaccurate, then at the end of the day, when you start looking for the analysis of what you have, what you don't have, what you need to be ordering, then it's going to be a problem. Now, before I end, I want to remind you, these are critical times. It's not only a problem that we have for delivery today, but think about this. There's a lot of risk in the supply chain today, a lot of uncertainty. So perhaps your company, like many others, you're ordering less. You want to keep less inventory, less risk. You want to keep that risk down because we don't know what sales are going to be like. And so you want to maintain that inventory. But if you have the wrong inventory, some of that inventory starts to disappear suddenly, then we have a problem, because if you have less inventory and you have these leaks and escapes, then we're going to be in deep trouble. We're not going to be able to deliver to our customer. Our customer might be looking elsewhere, might go to our competitor, and we don't want that for sure. So finally, think about this. You don't need to invest in more software. If you've already invested in software, use what you have. Sure, there might be some bugs in it. It might not be 100%, but that's not where your problem is most of the time. Most of the problems are in your processes, in the way we actually control and manage things and follow our processes, the discipline and the habits. That's where a lot of these things are. And in the next sessions, I'm going to go into that. Again, I'm going to leave the links to the book, the Inventory Accuracy Playbook. It's a framework that you can have with you all the time. It's a go-to framework so that when you start the process of wanting to get rid of this chaos with your inventory, you can always go there, follow the step-by-steps, and this is going to help you get out of this mess. Anyways, subscribe so that you can get the next session that I will be doing in a couple of days. Reach out to me, see if I can be of any help. I have been doing this for many years. I train problem solvers at every level so that you could build organizational capability and get rid of problems. Thank you.